Alright.
My husband bought the place off the guy whose
Horrible
family
angle
lived there
again.
since it was settled back in the day.
Sorry.
The man's
Shield
father was a
come.
drunk, and when we were cleaning up the place, we found hundreds of liquor bottles hidden all over the outside buildings. The first creepy thing that happened was the knock at the door. It was a clear knock, 3 times. My dog even barked, but when I went to the door, no one was there. We are the only house on our street, and our nearest neighbor is a mile away at least. It isn't like it was kids playing a prank on us. My husband and I didn't say much about it. We don't like to call attention to whoever it is that lives in the house with us because we feel like if we leave it in peace, it will do the same for us. The next thing happened when we were cleaning the drunken old man's tools up in the barn. There was a huge saw blade about 4 feet across used on old tractors. There was a 9-inch nail in the wall and the saw blade was hanging on it through the holes in the middle. My husband was under it cleaning up some dirt when it fell off that nail and hit him on his hand. He was wearing leather gloves and so was unharmed, if not unnerved. The nail was so long someone would physically have to move it away from the wall for it to fall like it did. Then, just the other week, I was doing the dishes and reached to the cupboard to put a plate away when the cupboard opened on its own for me. It was so weird, like someone wanted to help me with the dishes. I didn't say anything about it to my husband as it freaked me out. But 3 minutes later, he saw someone walk by our window. Of course, when we went outside, no one was there. It was very strange. Then, a couple of days later, the lights flickered on and off. They did it several times, but when my husband went out to the breaker box, nothing was wrong. He even went through each switch and turned them off, then back on to make sure. When he got back inside, the lights flickered again. It was only the light on one side of my house. The whole thing is very strange. Moving on to the 8 now, we have voices. This one came from Ori15 on Reddit, and it's a little reminder that it's not just houses and castles that can be haunted. He said, a couple with a rat let me volunteer for a summer. I just wanted to learn how to care for horses and play cowboy. Well, they called me out and asked if I would do the evening feed for their animals while they went to visit their family in a town that was about an hour away. I said yes and got started. So I was alone with a bunch of horses and dogs. All of the horses were pinned up. I had not even let them into the pasture yet. The sun was still up. It was the opposite of a creepy time. Well, it took a left turn to Crazy Town when I walked into the barn and I heard people started talking. I was all alone. Nobody, at least a mile in any direction, and almost no way anyone could sneak in to mess with me. The voices were very low and unclear, so I have no idea what was said. The only reason I know I'm not crazy is that the dogs that followed me in acted like they heard it too. One started barking at where the voices came from, and the other started running around the room growling. Moving on to the 7 now, we have the zombie horse. That title might give away the main theme of the story, but you don't get to say zombie horse very often in life, so I just took my shot there. Reddit user P.Logan said, I grew up in a large suburb outside of Houston. It was during the early 90s when a lot of farmland settled by the original German immigrants was being brought up by developers and turned into new homes. My family lived at the very end of our subdivision, and past my house was a great expanse of farmland flanked by thick woods and old decaying wooden shacks from the 1800s. Every day on my walk home from school, I would pass by a particularly overgrown old shack, which I guess must at some point have been our house, which leaned like it would fall over at any minute on its tired old foundation. And just beyond it was a long row